The key violation is desertion. And this has been done, the decision has been made, and let me be very clear. As a corporate entity, the Army has decided that they want to pursue Bergdahl for this violation.
Lieutenant Colonel Tony Schaefer making the rounds yesterday. He was on Midpoint right here on Newsmax TV. There he was speaking on the Fox News channel, reiterating Bowe Bergdahl now faces desertion charges. With Miranda Kahn, J.D. Hayworth here, welcoming you back.
I just get so excited there.
Well, it's an important story.
It is an important story. The Pentagon, of course, is denying any charges are imminent, so everyone wants to know what will happen next.
And why don't we find out? In the opinion of one attorney for this morning's legal brief, let's go back to a chilly, snowy Boston with criminal defense attorney Geoffrey Nathan. Geoffrey, the snow has fallen there, and we should note for the record that the Pentagon came out yesterday and issued an official denial about any decision on charges with Bergdahl. Let's take a listen to that denial.
No decision has been made with respect to the case of Sergeant Bergdahl. None. And there is no timeline to make that decision. And General Milley is not being put under any pressure to make a decision.
So, Geoffrey, what's the real story here?
Is that the Army is trying to keep their decision secret because they don't want there to be a premature leak, as the defense attorney in this case would otherwise move to dismiss on the grounds of pretrial prejudicial publicity. And of course, Bergdahl does have a splendid, very experienced attorney who knows what he's doing and would know how to play up the media card in regards to this particular matter. So I think that we're going to just have to wait and see. My hunch is that charges are going to emanate out of this investigation, however.
Do you think, Geoffrey, though, that this was the plan all along when they brought Bergdahl back?
I don't think there was necessarily a preconceived notion that Bergdahl was going to be charged. I think that they had in their cards a very loaded deck, however, and it would be extremely unusual for Bergdahl to skate in regards to this matter. He's not going to get out from under the prosecutorial arm. He can't. I mean, let's look at what he did, for heaven's sakes. He endangered other troops in his mix, and that Army just cannot tolerate that kind of behavior, frankly.
And yet, as I remember my courses on criminal justice and the political process, there is a difference between what is legal and what may be sanguine politically or morally. The fact that the president had his parents in the Rose Garden to put the imprimatur of official approval of bringing him back, now to have this desertion situation in the court of public opinion, this is going to be tough. You're well-versed in international law, so how would you defend Bergdahl?
The way you defend Bergdahl is to suggest that the command climate was toxic, meaning that the higher-ups created a combat environment that could not be tolerated by the troops. And that's how we go about defending your war crimes, killings, and drug use, and other such felony matters. And the truth of the matter is, it works. The juries listen to the evidence. They are enlisted senior personnel, and they understand that sometimes it's so bad in the field that otherwise good soldiers do bad things. That's the way you do it.
Geoffrey, I was reading reports that were saying that Bergdahl basically deserted, didn't exactly join the enemy. What are you hearing?
Well, based upon everything that is known to date, it appears that he basically wrote letters suggesting that he was pulling up shop and taking matters into his own hand, and walked off his forward operating base and surrendered to the enemy. You know, that's something that any convening authority, which is the military term for a grand jury, is going to look at and say, you know something, we're gonna have to charge this soldier with something here. We may want to go down to the lesser included offense of absent without leave, but clearly he pulled up stakes and something's going to happen.
The atmospherics of this case, and I return to the Rose Garden ceremony. You had the curious case of his father growing a beard. It was reported in solidarity with the resistance in Afghanistan, and speaking, I believe, in Urdu during part of that ceremony. Anyway, using a language other than English, apparently communicating directly, it was believed, with the captors. Does his father's conduct play any role in this trial? Will the prosecution try to use that?
Well, I think that both sides are going to use the communications with the parents and from the parents to exculpate Bergdahl. In other words, to bring to bear those facts which would otherwise suggest that he is not guilty of the crime. And all of that is designed to keep Bergdahl from serving a very lengthy prison sentence at the notorious Fort Leavenworth, Kansas military facility, which, trust me, that's no rose garden. So I think that both sides will and are allowed to and will use all publicly available videos, statements, and anything else to their benefit, as they should.
How likely do you think it is, though, that Bergdahl's defense team will portray him more as like a victim of war?
Very, because here, what I've been reading and what I have read in other journals is, as I suggested, the climate, the war climate that was created was such as to project to the enemy, for example, hey, we're here, but we're leaving. And Bergdahl and others in his mix were left to, shoulder the burden of that, and that's an extremely difficult task. So defendants in his circumstance use the commands of the higher-ups to suggest that what they did was wrong and that they couldn't function in the environment, and that's why the offense was committed.
Geoffrey, obviously you're a gifted attorney, but now with about a minute and a half remaining, there's another huge story where you live in Boston. We're going to ask you, I don't know, not exactly to turn weatherman, but to turn reporter. As a Bostonian, you've had some experience. 30 seconds. Tell us about the snow. I'm sorry, only a half minute remains. 30 seconds.
No problem. Well, it's nearly apocalyptic out. It's difficult to get anywhere. The roads are shrunk down to one lane per. Yesterday, I was on one of our major arteries with some law enforcement personnel and taken about, and it was surreal. There's absolutely no activity going on. It's barely impossible for anyone to leave their homes, and the courthouses are shut down. So all we can do here is talk about current affairs.
But you came on with us. We're grateful for it. Geoffrey, Nathan, thank you for your time and your insights. And America's Forum continues following this Newsmax Now update.